Hi again. We're in the Three Worlds by Barbour and Russell, page 44. Now they begin to talk about the saints reigning on earth. What will that be like for the saints as well as for those who are living on earth during this millennium to come after 1914? Actually, they believed it had already started. The 6,000 years of human history were already over. So as this book is being written, they believe they're in the millennium. But the results, that is on a physical level, on an earthly level, were not to be shown till after 1914. So here's their description of what that might be like. No, what it will be like according to them. The execution of vengeance, chastisement upon the heathen, and judgment upon the people, etc., is explained by the apostle and also by Christ. The saints shall judge the world. 1 Corinthians 6 verse 2. He that keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter, they shall be broken to shivers, even as I have received from my Father. That's Revelation 2:26. With the myriads of ignorant and barbarous heathen who have gone down to the grave with lifelong habits of fierce passion and deep degradation, all of whom are coming up just as they fell asleep, for there is no knowledge in the grave whither thou goest. They will require to be ruled with a rod of iron, until they learn to know the Lord. Also, in the restitution of all things, the nations will have to be reorganized, and present governments and nationalities will be dashed in pieces. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, and thou shalt dash them in pieces as a potter's vessel. That's all from Psalm 2. And in the days of these kings, the divided Roman Empire, in brackets, shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, and it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms. Daniel 2:44. The saints, who are to be kings and priests and reign on the earth, will not be ghosts or phantoms, but when they choose to appear under a veil of flesh, will walk the earth in the light of day, appearing like mortals, but with a mysterious power that could hurl destruction on an opposing host, even as the angel of the Lord overthrew 184,000 of Syrians as they lay encamped by deep Galilee. This will indeed be having power over the nations to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. The manifestation of the sons of God and the judgment on the nations is not till the resurrection. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. And not only they, but ourselves also, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, the redemption of our body. Romans 8. The creature, that is ktesis, it is the same as in Mark 16 verse 15, where it says, preach the gospel to every creature, and means man in the flesh, not cattle as some explain it. It is then, in the age or world to come, that the creature will come to the saving knowledge of the truth, because the creature itself shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God, according to Romans 8 verse 21. How shall they be clothed? And entering into the sepulchre, they saw a young man sitting on the right side, clothed in a long white garment. And of the angel who rolled away the stone, it is said, his raiment was white as snow. Daniel saw one clothed in linen, and his loins girded with fine gold of Uphaz. Christ also was seen by John, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt with a golden girdle. And on the Mount of Transfiguration his raiment became shining exceedingly, white as snow, so as no fuller on earth can white them. Then the saints will not only require food, but raiment. How are they to be supplied? How did Christ get the gardener's suit in which he appeared to Mary? He left those in which his earthly body had been wrapped, carefully folded up in the sepulchre. Take no thought what she shall eat, what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink, or wherewithal ye shall be clothed. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. When Christ wanted wine, he could say, "Let there be wine." When he wanted a fire, and coals, and fish laid thereon, and bread, he spake, and it was done. And without him was nothing made that was made. He that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do. And I find that particularly disturbing, that they could take a text from a passage in the Upper Room Discourse where Christ is talking about the work of the apostles and apply it to all the saints in general in the future, and apply it about the miracles, i.e. we will be able to do things that not only angels can do, but that Christ uniquely can do, including apparently create, according to their application of this idea of when Christ wanted wine, he just had to say, "Let there be wine." When he wanted a fire, he could just create one. And this lusting after that divine power is, I think, at the bottom of the mischief that Barbour and Russell will create. This huge cult, which, if anything, embodies the principle that we will be like unto God. And the fact that they have taken the mask off in recent years and revealed that no, the faithful and discreet slave is not 144 humble anointed ones whose faces you will never see and who you will probably never meet in this life, that they've come out from behind that mask and identified the slave as actually the governing body, which we kind of knew it was all the time. I think it's just another manifestation of this, although they're not so nearly carnal in their expectations of what godhood means for them in the future. Today, they're not that carnal, are they? But the assumption is still the same. We will be like God. Of course, the first and the greatest of temptations. Barbour and Russell go on. Some have supposed from Isaiah 65:21 that the saints, those who having received Christ with him become heirs of all things and kings and priests of the Most High, are to build houses, plant vineyards, and long enjoy the work of their hands. Even the genie of the wonderful lamp was better than that. Aladdin could have wine without planting vineyards, and the choicest viands, that is meats, for his table, and even a richly furnished palace built by unseen hands in a single night. And think you the heart of man has conceived better things than what God has laid up for them that love him? Think of Gabriel with saw and chisel framing a house, or Michael setting out grapevines. And be it spoken with reverence, our elder brother, that is Christ, doing the heavier spading. In other words, that's not good enough for us. We are the sons of the King. And then they go on and conclude that such is the heaven for the glorified saints is believed by the half of Christendom, a heaven no better than is promised the Jew in the flesh. In other words, this passage from Isaiah 65 rightly is about Israel, Jews. It's not to be applied to Christians, but of course we know that that's exactly what the Watchtower does now. It takes this passage about Isaiah 65:21, people building their own homes, etc., living for a long time, like the days of a tree, and applies it to the earthly class during the millennium. Not good enough for the saints, say Barbour and Russell. The earth was made for man, and the meek shall inherit it, but the saints, get this, the Elohim seed, the God seed, although they possess the kingdom under the whole heaven, look for an inheritance, incorruptible, undefiled, reserved in heaven, ready to be revealed in the last time. Next time, more about the powers of the God seed. And I'll attach the best chapter we have on the nature of angels and the names. Actually, the book of Daniel is where the names of Gabriel and Michael are introduced to us, and something about their powers too in Daniel chapter 10. So put that specific video up. And also the playlist, the Daniel playlist, which is a wonderful way to refute most of the major teachings of the Watchtower without going very far afield, because of course the witnesses think they know the book of Daniel, so it's a very convenient place to go with them. in discussing the difference between the exclusive claims of the Watchtower and the reality that defines truth in not just the New Testament, the truth in the Old Testament, that the name, the kingdom, and the definition of what it means to be part of the world and no part of the world, they're all basically badge issues for the Watchtower, as we know. We're talking about 3 of their 5 proofs that they are the true religion. All of those are dealt with and more in the book of Daniel. So I'll put that playlist on your screen as well.